Hey Adam, this is Dan. I made this video to show you some of the features that I've created for the Crystal Hot Springs rental system. I know that you're afraid of a new system, and so I thought this video might help you feel a little bit more comfortable and know actually what the changes would be. So if we were to implement this system, I imagine we would put on the crystalhotsprings.net page a link that says you can now rent your campsite online. And if people come in person or call on the phone, you can just redirect them to come here and do this because it's really easy and really convenient. So up here, we would just put a new link that says reserve campsite, and it would bring them to a page that has this information on it. Now, everything that I show you is just like a functional website. It's not stylized and it doesn't look good yet, but when we finish it, it would look good and be stylized. But for now, it's everything is functioning. So it's really cool because you can filter which sites are available through this process. So are you tent camping or do you want a trailer site? They can choose between the two. If they choose trailer, then it asks them for additional information, like my trailer is 25 feet long or smaller. I got this information from your website. My trailer is between 25 and 35 feet long. I want an RV site that has room for tents as well. So if they select these, then it limits the number of sites that our system will check for availability, because if their trailer is too big, then we don't want it to check for these sorts of sites. And I didn't know if you knew that was something that's possible, but it is. So you also put on the site that Friday and Saturday can no longer be rented separately. So I included some logic in the calendar system that makes it so, let's say we choose this Saturday and this Tuesday, that leaves out the Friday before. It comes back with an error and says Fridays and Saturdays must be booked together. Okay, so let's try again, and this time, now that we know that, because it didn't read, I'll select till Saturday. So once that's done, it's basically found a site and it comes to where we need to log in. So here we could have them put in their address, have them make an account, or if we already have their information, they could just enter in their email. And about a year ago, we talked about how you wanted to migrate a lot of the information off of the campground manager, but back then I didn't know how to do that from like a text or a CSV file. But now I know how to migrate information from a CSV. So if Campground Manager can export to a CSV, then we could export a bunch of information and make the accounts. So we submit our email and it brings us to this page where it's already calculated how much it's going to be for the amount of time, and then they'll just put in their information. And pay. And once it's paid, they will receive an email with a receipt saying that their payment has gone through, and Crystal Hot Springs will have a calendar that will update with the information. So like I said, this is actually functioning. So that test card was sent to a real credit card processing company and they processed it in test mode and it worked. And so if we come to my email, I have a new email from Crystal Hot Springs and it says, you've reserved campsite number 41. The first night is this night. The last night is this night. We can have a confirmation number in the email and a receipt of how much was made and when the reservation was made. Now we can put anything we want in this email. So I imagine we'll have a bunch of information talking about policies and things like that, check-in times, anything you want can go here. Another neat thing that we can do is add a checkbox when they're selecting the information that says they agree to the terms and use. So that way you can include rules in there. So if people break them, you can just kick them out of the hot spring and say, look, you agreed to these terms, you're not abiding by them, so you got to go. So I think this will be nice because we won't have to print off receipts in the office anymore. And if someone goes around to check the different campgrounds to make sure that the people who said they're going to be there are there, they can just pull out their phones and have this confirmation number that we can check with our system. So in reality, they never would actually have to come to the office. Now, you still can if you want them to, but if it was something that you didn't want them to do, then everyone could just manage themselves with this new system. So on our end, we'll have a way to see where everyone's camping. This is what it looked like before that reservation was made, and this is what it looks like after. So we can see that Daniel Taylor's reserved 2 nights on Friday, June 22nd for number 42. And in my system, it checks for collisions of dates. So if someone tries to reserve from this day to this day, it won't allow them to because someone's already taken it. So it'll put them in this site instead. And if they're all full, then it'll take them to a similar page that looks like this, but it won't have any information. It'll just show blocked out orange spaces where people have reserved things, and then they'll be able to enter in a date that they want, that they found that's available. So if we click on the reservation, it'll bring us to, again, this looks really bad because I haven't done any styling on it, but it brings us to a page with more information where we can actually cancel the reservation. If they just decided not to come, then you can cancel the reservation and keep the money. If for some reason you have to give them back their money, then you can do that too right here, and it all happens seamlessly over the internet and just goes right back into their card. And also, once you cancel this reservation, it will send an email to their email letting them know that their reservation's been canceled. So we got another email from Crystal Hotsprings, date of previous reservation has been canceled. And now that reservation is no longer there in our database. Anyway, Adam, I know that there's some hurdles with just changing systems in general and with the cost. I would be open to just doing like a small percentage on each of the reservations made, or just paying a lump sum annually. I would be happy to get the system going and we can test it together. I would think that we could make the system and roll it out so that it'll be ready next summer, and transfer over the current reservations for next summer to the new system. So we've got, 9 months to work out any bugs and to make additional features. If you just don't think it's possible or you're not interested, I won't bother you about it again, but I just really think that Crystal Hotsprings could benefit from an automated system like this, because I know it would free up a lot of the time of the office workers, and hopefully it would just make reserving a campsite in general a much more streamlined process. So let me know what you think.